Carnivore fans, we have a really amazing gift today. I've got Coach Colt, and we just had a great interview together where he interviewed me, and we're switching over, and I'm getting a chance to listen and learn from him. And so without further ado, Coach Colt, how you doing today? And maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in this beautiful life.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, yeah, I'm I guess just better than I deserve. Let's start there, huh? 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20 says, "Do you not know that your body is a sanctuary of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body." So that was basically the reason that we started supersetyourlife.com. 3 years ago, I was working in the corporate world. I had done 8 bodybuilding shows up until that point. Just brought my wife home. We had had 2 children, and when the pandemic hit, I was doing stand up every night, and so we were just about ready to move our entire family to California, actually.
Wow.
And I was going to go all in with stand up. And then after the pandemic hit, and then after we started having kids, we were just like, man, this is not going to be realistic. It was nice because at the time I was doing some personal training on the side, and so we just decided to go all in with online training. We were very new to the ketogenic diet, very new to the carnivore diet at that time, and we just noticed that, especially for me with my bodybuilding, that I was a much better athlete with a carnivorous approach than with having carbohydrates before. Much better than when I was doing the standard if it fits your macros approach. So the last 4 shows that I did quite a bit better than when I was carnivore before. Also fixed my eating disorder. I had gone through about a 10-year spurt from high school all the way into my later 20s of binging and purging, particularly getting into bodybuilding. Yeah. We were talking on Carnivore Coach's Corner about how addictive plant substances can be and how addictive sugar can be. I think that some people can get away with having them in their diet and not do as much damage as maybe somebody like me that's more susceptible to it. I have a very highly addictive personality. So coming to the carnivore diet for me was very therapeutic, not just in terms of my athletic goals, but also in my overall quality of life as a human being. My son, he's on the autism spectrum too. So for that reason, I mean, he needs to be on a carnivorous diet. He needs to be on a ketogenic diet. Whenever he has plant products, particularly sugar, it's kind of a rough day after that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So maybe you tell us a little bit about how you got into the bodybuilding world, how long you've been doing that, and maybe touch a little bit on the sort of maybe, I don't want to use the habits of using a lot of plant-based foods and supplements and things like that, and how it may be affecting people.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my diet, I wouldn't say was necessarily that bad up until I started bodybuilding. I mean, I was doing, let me put it this way. It certainly was a standard American diet, but I was trying. And I think a lot of people are there, right? So you're not going crazy on desserts and on sweets all the time, but just generally trying to stick towards whole foods. I think that for most people, at least that's a step in the right direction. So that's kind of where I was at when I started my bodybuilding journey. My wife and I both met at Eastern Washington University playing hockey, and so we've both been athletes our entire lives. And after we got married, we got into the corporate world. I missed that about myself. I missed being an athlete. I missed that she was an athlete. And so we started going to the gym together and training together. We started doing some strength training. And then I started learning enough about weight training and weightlifting and started seeing some good results to where I was like, okay, what about bodybuilding? I guess that's a sport that I've never really considered before. I'm becoming more and more interested in my health. I'm looking better. That's kind of fun. I've never seen my abs before. I would really like to see my abs. So I bought Arnold Schwarzenegger's Bodybuilding Encyclopedia and read it cover to cover. And I totally thought every single athlete in there was natural. I didn't know they were all on steroids. There's like one page that says anything about steroids on it and it says, don't take them. That's pretty much it. So I was like, right on. I could totally look like these guys. So did my own first show and coached myself. Didn't even hire a coach, and I definitely looked like I coached myself. I looked like that guy that needed a coach. So this is in 2017, and after that first show, I ended up with an eating disorder, messed up my metabolism, wasn't able to perform in bed because my testosterone was tanked from all the cardio that I was doing and my unhealthy diet, and so that summarized 2017. 2018 came back and tried it again, did a little bit better, and then 2019, my wife and I looked at each other, and she actually was like, you know what, no. You need to hire a coach. You need to figure out how to do this right. So he put me on more or less a paleo hybrid diet, and actually encouraged me to start putting a lot of red meat in my diet. And so I did 4 shows with him, and I did way better than I did on my first 4 shows. And what I realized is that I actually felt better on the keto days. So there were days where I would eat a lot of carbohydrates, and then when we would deplete, I just noticed that I felt better on the days that I was depleting. And he goes, oh yeah, you'll love your depletion days. Don't worry about, he goes, don't, and he's not keto or carnivore, but he goes, you're going to love the days where you're eating mostly fatty meat. Don't underestimate that. Don't worry about not eating carbs on the weekends. I was like, okay. And so after 2019, I just decided to go all in with carnivore and keto and go, let's just take a couple of years off of bodybuilding and, focus on business and focus on Skull Bells. That's when we started Skull Bells, was when the pandemic hit. I was at a point to where I was like, man, I'm going to have an anxiety attack, or I'm not going to be a nice person if I can't get to a gym. And all the gyms were closed. And so we're like, okay, we could try to make our own gym equipment, because there's a 600% increase on the cost of used gym equipment right now. Or I could get really creative and start making our own. So that's what we started doing. We made all of our curl bars, all of our dumbbells out of skulls, and cable attachments too. I'm so glad that you got yours.
I love these. These are amazing. Now I got to get the skull bells. I'm waiting for those now.
Okay. I'll get to work on those. I think, yeah, we need to make another mold on them. We had a little bit of a setback a week or 2 ago, but that's a different story. But yeah, we're doing great in the cable attachments. I think we're making about an average of 5 or 6 a week right now.
So are you still in the bodybuilder doing the shows also, and coaching? Yep. And tell us a little bit about your coaching and what you're doing there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm holding in front of me. Is this going to be on YouTube or just audio only?
Both.
Okay, great. Good. So this is my coaching clipboard. Has all 18 of our athletes on it. We try to keep it around 20. Any more than 20 clients at a time. I just can't be as hands-on with everybody, and I don't feel like they're getting I don't feel like they're getting the attention that they deserve. We talk to these people all day, every day, mostly on video chat, texting too. We text all of our clients, and so it's actually pretty all consuming, and it never really ends. But here again, it doesn't feel like work to me. It's something I enjoy. It's something I live, and something that I want to do the rest of my life, right? Because John 4:34 says, my work is to do my food is to do the work of my food is to do the will of him who sent me and finish his work. And so that's something that I try to remind myself every day. And about half of them are competitive bodybuilders that have a competition on the schedule or have recently competed. And then half of them are what we call Superset members. And these are people that we train with basically the same principles. And they might just want to get from 300 pounds to 200 pounds. I don't know. Their goal might just want to get to where they can do a photo shoot, or maybe they kind of want to do a bodybuilding competition and they don't really know. It's just like a bucket list item. And so they might need a year of just being on the keto carnivore diet so that they can improve their health and they can start looking better, build some lean muscle mass. And then it's kind of realistic to see where, if and when they want to do a show.
What's the biggest hurdle, do you think, to get people in the gym and doing the work?
The diet, because I never start with the gym. When someone starts with us, we always start with their diet, and especially if their goal is weight loss, and especially if somebody like just wants to get healthy, the diet really does everything. You don't even need to go to the gym. So that person, if it's someone that's sedentary, for example, then that person I would encourage to just start with walking every day. Walk your dog. If you have phone calls, then get outside of your office at your job and go do your phone calls outside. Take advantage of your lunch break. If you're going to do that, you can eat while you're working. You don't need to use your lunch break to eat. That's what I always did when I was in the corporate world.
And what's the single reason do you think people quit the workout that they've been doing?
In terms of adhering to a workout plan, we don't really have anybody that falls off the wagon there. I think that the biggest issue is just the diet. If someone's on their diet, man, like the workout plan happens by accident, because then you have the energy to feel like going to the gym. You're more comfortable with how you look, and so you're more comfortable going to the gym in the first place. And so usually after a couple of weeks of somebody eating everything exactly like they're supposed to, we see. Let me put it this way. I have more problems with people doing too much and overtraining than I do people not doing enough. My whole project personally this last year has been to reduce my training and to reduce the training of most of our clients too. But me in particular, I've just always had a bad habit of overtraining, especially in times of life where I'm stressed. I find it to be kind of an escape sometimes if I am just having a stressful day, business, work, or whatever. And so telling people to do less cardio and to train harder, to train closer to failure and not be in the gym for longer than 45 minutes, that's kind of been the project lately. Yeah, most people that come to us are pretty self-motivated. Yeah. I'm not the guy that's like over people's shoulder telling them to finish in the workout. These are people that are go-getters. And that's kind of another note, actually. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail where there is no counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. So these people, most of them are actually quite a bit smarter than me, and most of them actually know the carnivore diet better than I do. These are people that I'm helping get in shape using the carnivore diet, but I feel like I learn from them quite a bit more than they learn from me.
You intertwine faith tremendously in your life, I see. Tell us a little bit of how powerful that is and what your general recommendations are.
Thanks. Well, kind of like what we were touching about on Carnivore Coach's Corner, I really believe that that most of the problems that people deal with every day could be either fixed 100% or would be way easier to overcome if you're rooted in your faith and if you're rooted in your nutrition. And if you have a strategy around each of those, a biblical strategy or a faith strategy for me is just reading the Bible every single day. And so that could be, and then a number of spiritual exercises throughout the day too. I have a morning routine where I do some meditation and some prayer work and everything then. So I like to think about what's going to happen during the day. Let's see if I'm reading a particular passage, is that something that I need to hear? Is that something that one of my clients needs to hear? Who has a show coming up? Who's getting nervous? That's kind of where my head's at in the morning. In the evening, man, I work about 11, 12 hours a day. So usually by the end of the day, like my brain's just gone. Like I can't think, like I have no creative juices left. So that's a very good time to absorb. That's a very good time to learn. So that's when that's when I'll take out, I guess, a Bible translation that's more word for word than thought for thought. Like if I'm teaching, CSB, NIV, those are just, that's like the Bible that I have right now is HCSB. Very easy to read. At night,
can you show us the front cover of that? So.
Oh yeah, so it's called the Coach's Bible.
Oh, okay.
And it's Holman Christian Standard Version. I highly recommend this translation. It's by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA. So the entire Bible is just the text with no study notes, except for some footnotes here and there whenever there's like a questionable translation issue or something. And then in the very back of it is a full-on devotional. So that's specific for coaches. But yeah, I just got it used on Amazon about a year ago. It was $20 and probably the best $20 I've ever spent. This thing never leaves my side. It's in my backpack. It's in my gym bag, and it goes everywhere I go. It's pretty much locked in my head.
Would you say that faith is that thing we're probably missing most in sort of the coaching, keto, carnivore, health and wellness space?
You know, it kind of saddens me that it kind of seems to be absent. And that's something that I would like to see more, I guess, to answer your question. Yes.
So
I think in the nutrition space, it gets easy to look at everything scientifically and to try to figure out why everything works a certain way on an intracellular level. When I do too much studying and I'm not in the word enough, I notice it in my overall health. I notice it in my mood. I'll even go so far as to say that if she was standing right here, I would say this with her too, and she would say the same thing about me. But if we're both on top of our faith habits, if we're both going to church, which of course we do that together, but if we have these rituals around our faith in our life throughout the day, we're pleasant people to be around. My wife and I both are not pleasant people to be around when we are not in the Word.
It's that mindfulness on a daily basis and several times a day that probably gives us the most calm ability to see others with love and forgiveness. And loving and forgiving ourselves is such an important thing. And do you think people can find the same feeling of church and religion in their daily practices of exercise and work and seeing the wonder just in nature?
It is not the same thing. I believe that there are some psychological benefits that you can gain from let's say like an Eastern meditation practice, which is completely different than a scriptural meditation practice. I think if we're talking in terms of health and wellness and being able to perform and being able to feel good about yourself day to day, great, do whatever works best for you. If we're talking about the Bible and if we're talking about a relationship with God, that's quite a bit different.
And community is important. And as you said, counsel is important. So being able to talk to others and that bring about the same support and wisdom is such an important thing.
Yeah, and I think the church community too has a lot to learn from the keto carnivore community. I think it goes both ways. As Christians, we believe that our bodies are temples. Most of the Christians that I know don't have. Most people that I know, generally speaking, just don't have the best eating habits. And so, yeah, I think that there's a lot of lessons that the fitness community and the health community more specifically can learn from the Bible. But I also believe that the church as a whole has some work to do in terms of how they treat their physical body.
Yeah, so everyone probably can learn from each other, and that's, I think, the important thing to realize for all of us. And what we put in our minds and our mouths really is critical to determining the sort of the physical and mental health of our beautiful bodies, which are the most valuable, expensive, irreplaceable temples. And I think mostly what we treat our bodies like is an amusement park. And that's kind of the standard sort of marketing that we see out there is come to the party, drink heavily, eat whatever you want, and rather than be very discerning in what you put in your mind and your mouth, and how we can all find more of healing and health and in a beautiful life. And by the way, I think success and health and doesn't mean physically completely, because there are many people with many life debilitating diseases, yet they still live a joyous, happy life. Like my sister Marianne, I remember lived that way no matter what was going on. But I think these ideas are so impactful for each and every one of us.
Absolutely. Yep. And one more disclaimer too. Sorry, I meant to mention this earlier, but I like how I love how much you emphasize love and forgiveness in terms of faith, and that's a message that I always pray that is communicated whenever we speak on our faith. Not all of our clients share our belief, actually, and so the ones that so our athletes that we don't see eye to eye on with our faith, a lot of the same principles still apply.
Yeah.
And they know that what we're teaching, like if they're listening to our podcast or whatever, is because all of our clients listen to it. That's kind of what our podcast is it's for our clients, copy to the rest of the world. But I'm speaking to our athletes.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that our faith never comes from a place of judgment. It always comes from a place of love. But I can't authentically I cannot be authentic as to who I am and why I believe what I do and why I do what I do every single day and why I'm so passionate about what I teach without talking about my faith.
Yeah.
I just can't, because that's where it's all rooted from.
And I think that's such an important thing for us to talk more about our faith, because I think we become afraid to talk about religion and politics and nutrition. Those are the three things that in my medical practice, it's sort of like, oh, you can't talk about that. So I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
We don't talk politics, but I love talking about the religious belief systems, and I love talking about nutrition, because I think that's such a powerful thing. And, if we get to know people's faith and where they're coming from, and then we realize that it's all actually the same. There's so much of it, right? Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. Tell me a little bit about your passion of what you really love to do every day.
I love seeing results. I don't care what it is, man. Like it could be my daughter is better behaved today than she was yesterday. Man, like that's something to celebrate, dude. You know, yeah. Same thing with my son. I like seeing people improve. I don't care where it is. I really don't have a social life outside of this. Most of the people that I talk to every day are either our clients, somebody on a podcast. And so here again, it just comes back to John 4:34. It's like, I don't know, when am I working and when am I doing something that's feeding my soul? Okay. When I'm reading the Bible, that is definitely not work. I'm not getting paid for it. Okay. But yet I'm going to be teaching that same principle every single Monday. I send every single one of our clients a video message with a prayer, some whatever we're focusing on that's like kind of relevant to health. Mm-hmm. That's relevant to health and fitness. Like, for example, our challenge this week was to memorize Haggai chapter 2 verse 4. Work, for I am with you. I mean, easy. It's something where like most people haven't read the book of Haggai, and so it's something that you learn that's new, but I try not to overcomplicate it, and so that people that are signing up for workout plans and meal plans are getting what they paid for. But I'm also encouraging them with something that I personally believe is quite a bit more powerful than speaking affirmations, than traditional types of meditation. I think that when you tap into the spirit that's within you, which is the Holy Spirit, biblically speaking, I just don't see anything that's more powerful than that. There have been some days where, especially after losing our jobs, like initially when we were just getting started with Skull Bells and SupersetYourLife.com, that like paying bills is a struggle, and I was not going to go get another job and work for somebody else. I was like, no, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm skilled at. This is what I love doing. And there are some days where I didn't know where our next payment was going to come from, and sometimes just reading the Bible and knowing how everything ends in the grand scheme of things just gives you enough perspective and peace of mind to make it one more day, and then, bam, we get another Skull Bells order, or someone buys like a 2-year long plan or something, and then we're good.
Well, I'm looking forward to my Skull Bells order. We'll work on that. I've got. I'm really excited about. What is your sort of your ultimate goal in this journey?
I'm so glad you asked that. Okay. Matthew 20, verse 25b says, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Behold, I have made 5 talents more. So that's the parable of talents, and then that's where we all get the famous part of it, how it ends, right? Which is, well done, good and faithful servant. I just am overwhelmed with gratitude to the point to where I want to look back and go, okay, God has given me so much. How can I take what he gave me and make the most of it and give it back to him? I don't know. I feel like the best way that I could do that is to help people look better, live longer, be healthier, and encourage them with the word while I'm at it.
I love it.
Thanks.
Where can people find you?
Supersetyourlife.com is our website. My Instagram is @Colt Milton, and we have 2 podcasts. One is a faith, family, and workout podcast. It's to listen to while you work out. That is called the SupersetYourLife.com podcast. And our advanced nutrition podcast, which is what we just had you on, thank you so much again for that, is Carnivore Coach's Corner.
I love it. I love it. Well, I loved my time speaking with you on your channel and my channel. Our listeners and watchers are going to be really learning a great amount. And Coach Colt, thank you so much for being here with me. Much love, and God bless you.
The joy was all mine. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, God bless you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.